It was the 5th year of my deep love for the top-tier alpha, Olivia Lynn. For her, I, also an alpha, had chosen to use an artificial womb to carry our child. After enduring immense hardship, the embryo was finally mature. I returned home, eager to share the news, only to find Olivia sitting on the lap of her childhood friend, the Omega, Ethan Shaw. Olivia, in the throes of her heat, her eyes were a blurry, broken mess of tears. Asher, I'm sorry. I couldn't control myself. Olivia, look at me. I watched, helpless and heartbroken, as she opened Ethan's scent gland and completed the knot, the mating bond. In that instant, an endless abyss of pain swallowed me whole. Later, I decided to put our child, still in its embryonic sac, into a box and give it to Olivia as an anniversary gift. Hello, I'd like to have the embryo removed. Removed? You went through so much for this child. You're the first alpha who has ever successfully carried an embryo to term. The doctor was clearly one-eared, trying to persuade me to keep it. No one will love this child. If it was destined to lack a complete family and unconditional love, then it was better for it to disappear. I had been married to the top-tier alpha, Olivia Lynn, for 3 years. She had always been reluctant to have children, and I automatically took on this responsibility. I suffered a great deal to conceive this embryo. Even though Olivia felt sorry for me and told me not to be so persistent, I gritted my teeth and persevered. But the most fervent love met the coldest ending. Olivia explained a lot about the heat and the nodding with her childhood friend, Ethan. However, I barely listened to a word. After that, Olivia avoided the subject altogether. Today was our 3rd wedding anniversary, and it was also the first time we sat down calmly to eat face to face. Olivia, in her joy, had booked the entire Grandview Manor. The decorations alone cost a small fortune, and I played along with everything, until I pushed the gift box towards her. Olivia moved to open the box, but I stopped her. Not yet. Your birthday is in 3 days. Open it then. Olivia took my hand, her face lit with anticipation, and kissed me. It seems this gift is quite substantial. It was, indeed. I forced a smile, a bitter curve tinged with helplessness. She slid her hand around my waist, burying her face in the nape of my neck, taking a deep inhale. You smell so good, darling. You really do. Olivia and I were both alphas. She was the highest caliber, while I was among the lowest. 5 years ago, by a chance encounter, the top-tier alpha Olivia took an interest in me. Although we were not a perfect match, we were very compatible. Neither of us had experienced the life-and-death heat between alphas and omegas. The pheromones we secreted from each other were enough to make us ecstatic. She said she could smell the faint scent of my pheromones. She said she would only marry me in this life. The feelings produced by pheromone control are cheap and dirty, and I will only marry the woman I love. Olivia defied the family's orders and gave up the top Omega Ethan, who was perfectly matched with her. Facing Ethan's susceptible period, she repeatedly took inhibitors in the sky-high pheromones to resist the physiological temptation. She withstood all the pressure and chose to marry me. At first, I thought it was just a novelty for her, but she loved me for 3 full years. Just when I thought I had the most perfect love in the world, she completed the nodding mark with Ethan. Even in front of me. Those images were like brands, seared into my mind, refusing to fade. Why is your mark gone? Olivia abruptly straightened me up, her gaze anxious and fearful. Between us, it had always been temporary markings, never a permanent bond. Olivia would always bite my gland afterwards, completing the temporary mark. Her enthusiasm for this act once made me feel like I was an infinitely cherished person. Maybe it just wore off. I pushed her away, changing the subject. But the next second, she gripped my hands, burying her head in my neck and biting my gland again. Because there was no foreplay or any preparation, the tearing pain almost made me lose consciousness. Are you insane? I shoved Olivia away, but she just smiled faintly, licking the blood from her lips. Asher, you can only be mine. As she spoke, Olivia's phone rang. She glanced at it, then silenced it, her eyes filled with a cold impatience. I pretended not to see or hear, simply lowering my head to eat. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the exquisite box beside her hand, and something within me screamed to break free. Olivia, I won't be yours for much longer. I refused Olivia's request to stay overnight at Grandview. When I returned home, I pushed open the door to find Olivia's parents sitting in the living room. Uncle, Aunt, don't blame Olivia. It's my fault. Olivia, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Asher, now everyone knows that I have been marked by Olivia. I had no choice but to be honest. Once an Omega is marked by an Alpha, all Alphas can know. And for a top Alpha like Olivia, being marked by her means that no Alpha will ever choose to not with Ethan. For Ethan, this was undoubtedly a catastrophe. You and Ethan were originally a perfect match if you hadn't married. Mr. Lynn paused mid-sentence, his gaze still holding a veiled anger towards me. Now, we need to resolve Ethan's situation. He's still young. Since you've already completed the knot, you need to set a date and get married. Impossible. I already have Asher. Olivia clutched my hand tightly, refusing to let go. The scene was eerily similar to the first time she brought me home, when she was punished by the family and forced to kneel in the garden on that cold winter night. She had held me close, telling me that she would only love me for the rest of her life. I turned my head to look at Olivia. Following her gaze, it landed on Ethan, who was sobbing in the living room. Back then, her eyes were only for me. But now, her gaze involuntarily drifted to Ethan. Asher, what are you thinking? Everyone's eyes were on me. Asher, I know this is unfair to you. But I had no choice. My family has given me an ultimatum. If I can't marry Olivia, they'll have my gland removed. I don't want to become an ordinary beta. Ethan's sobs gradually became piercing. He even knelt before me, his hands reaching for the hem of my clothes. I raised my hands, taking a step back. All right, I agree. Ethan's crying stopped, and the living room fell into a deathly silence. Asher Blackwood, do you know what you're saying? Olivia stared at me in disbelief, repeatedly confirming with me. On the other side, the Lynn parents had decided. Then it settled. This matter should be done sooner rather than later. The wedding arrangements will be handled by Asher. With that, Olivia's parents left. I didn't even have a chance to refuse. Preparing a wedding for my wife and another man. This was probably something that could only happen in the Lynn family. Asher, why did you agree? How could I refuse? This was the first time I had ever spoken harshly to Olivia since we met. Olivia was stunned, unable to react for a long moment. Perhaps in her eyes, I had always been the gentle, accommodating one. But I had emotions too. I had just suppressed them for her. Olivia, don't fight. I'll just leave. Ethan shakily stood up. Even though I couldn't sense the release of pheromones, I could clearly see that the two people in front of me were almost in the same state. One was gritting her teeth and enduring, the other desperately releasing. Olivia was flushed, covered in a thin layer of sweat. Ethan was currently in heat. As a top-tier Omega, if he went out now, he would attract countless Alphas. And under the influence of pheromones, those Alphas wouldn't care that he had already been marked by Olivia. Then what awaited him was hell. The hand that was tightly held was released at that moment. I'm sorry, Asher. I have to go save Ethan. The warmth of Olivia lingered in my released hand. I watched her run towards Ethan, shaking my head with a bitter smile. Olivia, your love is no longer presentable. That night, Olivia didn't come back. The next day, I contacted a wedding planner and entrusted them with all the wedding arrangements. The date was set for Olivia's birthday. I looked up, and Ethan was standing in front of me at some point, handing me a cup of coffee. Asher, thank you for helping Olivia and me prepare for the wedding. From now on, we'll have to look out for each other. Ethan smiled sweetly, then turned back to me as he was leaving. Oh right, I'll tell you a secret. Olivia and I have been together for a long time. It's just that everyone kept it from you. I lowered my head, stirring my coffee, as a wave of sourness and bitterness washed over me. Tears fell without warning. So everyone knew. Only I was like a fool, being played in the palm of their hands. Don't cry, okay? I won't have anything to do with him anymore. Olivia, I didn't know when, appeared behind me. She hugged me from behind, biting my gland once again. I gritted my teeth, enduring the pain, and turned to face the woman before me. Olivia, even if you bite my gland countless times, it won't change the fact that I'm an Alpha. Olivia's gaze changed instantly. She became restless and uneasy. Asher, don't say that. The fact that Alphas and Alphas couldn't be marked, couldn't be knotted, had always been Olivia's pain. Even when she was addicted to me, sniffing the faint scent of my pheromones to the point of ecstasy, she couldn't complete the mark. And I was like someone who could leave at any time. Never under her control. Before, it was because of love that I chose to imprison myself. But this time I refused. Since yesterday's falling out with Olivia, she had stopped talking to me. She spent all her time with Ethan, using it to provoke me. And I enjoyed the peace and quiet, focusing entirely on preparing their wedding. because this wedding was also my wedding gift to her. Both the Lynn and Shaw families were people who valued appearances, so the wedding was arranged to be grand and extravagant. But Ethan's suit couldn't be decided. I called Ethan countless times, but it was either busy or no one answered. Olivia took me to France to choose a suit. The wedding countdown has begun. My woman is so beautiful. My beloved Olivia is lying beside me right now. Ethan's social media feed changed IP addresses countless times a day. I knew he was with Olivia. The two of them were busy flying around the world, busy flirting. I also knew that Olivia was deliberately doing it to me. I simply turned off my phone and stopped contacting Ethan. In the afternoon, the two of them finally returned, playful and boisterous. Asher, look at this jewelry Olivia chose for me. And this wedding banquet gown, it's custom-made, one of a kind. What about the suit? The suit hasn't been decided yet. I didn't even raise my head, looking at the book in my hand. I just felt a burning gaze, as if it wanted to see through me. I remember Asher's suit was made by French designer Amanda, and she's retired now. There are no more designs of the same type. We're about the same size, so maybe I should wear yours. The hand hidden under the book clenched tightly, a strange sense of grievance beginning to spread in my heart. That suit was designed by Olivia, who drew the sketch, and Amanda refined it. Every stitch, every thread, contained Olivia's love for me. But now, the love was gone. Was the suit going to be taken from me too? Olivia, what do you think? If I wear Asher's suit, would it be okay? Ethan pulled Olivia's hand and acted coquettishly. Olivia looked over his head, her gaze landing on me. I raised my eyes, meeting Olivia's gaze. Sure, it would probably look good on you too. The moment Olivia spoke, a buzzing sound filled my ears. I seemed unable to hear, only able to see Olivia's lips moving. Ethan took me to try on my suit, then appeared before me with Olivia on his arm. I felt like my soul had been sucked out, accompanying them through the process. The same scenes from my wedding were being reenacted before me in a different way, stabbing my heart bit by bit. The night before their wedding, I stood by the window. A gust of wind brought me back to my senses. I dialed the number I had been too afraid to dial. Ms. Zhao, I remember donating $10,000 to you before. Can I exchange that for a request now? There was a heavy breath on the other end of the line. You can. The woman didn't say anything else, only asking when she could come to pick me up. I told her the approximate time. Did you receive the Lynn family's wedding invitation? The other side didn't answer and hung up. Darling, who are you talking to? Olivia's voice came from behind me, and my heart skipped a beat. She hugged me from behind, her moist breath spraying on the back of my neck. The next second, she moved as if to bite my gland. I subtly dodged. If I was marked this time, it would be easy to find me. I turned around, smiling at her, and spoke calmly. I was discussing your wedding with the wedding planner. Olivia frowned, looking a little hurt and sad, acting coquettishly towards me. Don't you love me anymore? Have you really not been jealous of Ethan and me these past few days? I know I was wrong about this, but I will definitely balance these relationships. He's just a tool. We can live our lives well, just like before, can't we? The scenes that Olivia thought would make me jealous were, in my eyes, brute force pushing me towards a dead end. What she didn't know was that I not only didn't love her anymore, I was also going to leave her. I was just thinking, I've been too selfish all these years. I'm also an alpha, and in some ways, I can't satisfy you. Ethan is the omega who is best suited for you. Maybe it's time for me to let go and let you live the life of a normal alpha. Olivia, I'm willing to live our lives well. A flash of surprise appeared in Olivia's expression. She hugged me tightly. Darling, I really, really love you. That night, Olivia didn't leave my side, and the figure outside the door came and went, never leaving either. On the wedding day, I handed the box containing the embryo to Olivia. This is also your wedding gift. I hope you don't mind. Olivia repeatedly denied it, hugging me and kissing me a few times, then turned and walked towards the wedding car. And I handed this box to a nearby flower girl, quietly replacing the ring box. Happy wedding, Olivia. People are happy when they are happy, and Olivia is in high spirits, sweeping away the haze of the past. I watched dozens of cars leave the Lynn family and drive to the Shaw family in the north of the city. The marriage between Lynn and Shaw is a big deal. The whole city became lively, celebrating this joyous occasion. They all forgot that Olivia already had a husband. They also forgot how Olivia refused to marry Ethan before. After everyone left, the Lynn family became quiet. I picked up my belongings and walked to the door, waiting for someone to pick me up. A black car stopped steadily in front of me. Through the dark window, I saw a cold profile. "Mr. Blackwood, please get in." I nodded, looked back at the Lynn family where I had lived for 3 years, and got into the car. "Olivia, goodbye." The woman beside me remained silent, seemingly resting with her eyes closed. I didn't dare to make a sound, shrinking into the corner and looking out the window. The car had just driven a few steps when it encountered Olivia's wedding procession. The driver seemed very familiar with the road conditions, choosing to overtake from a cha-dao-ko/fork in the road, leaving a group of greeters behind. I looked at the scenery flying by outside the window, and a strange sadness surged in my heart. The separation I had never thought of became concrete at this moment. The car suddenly braked, and I was thrown forward. An arm blocked my chest, stabilizing my body. I looked up in surprise, meeting the woman's gaze in the dim light. "Boss, someone is blocking the car." I looked through the windshield and saw Olivia. My heart leaped into my throat. I grabbed Victoria Zhao's arm, speaking in an almost pleading tone. "Ms. Zhao, please don't open the door." Victoria patted my hand, the warmth of her palm feeling slightly burning. I instinctively retracted my hand, feeling my heart beat even faster. "Cover up." Victoria took off her coat and covered me with it. I turned my head away, no longer looking in that direction. Olivia leaned down, approaching the rear window, and gently knocked. I heard the sound of the car door unlocking. The next second, a familiar voice rang in my ears. "Ms. Zhao, when did you return?" "Yesterday." Victoria's voice was clear, devoid of any discernible emotion, exuding an aura that warned others to keep their distance. Victoria Zhao wasn't a top-tier alpha from a prestigious family. She had clawed her way up from the bottom to the very top, becoming the most unattainable, supreme alpha that everyone could only dream of. Even the Lin family had to show her some respect. What a coincidence. "Today is my wedding. Please, Ms. Zhao, grace us with your presence." Olivia's tone was unusually fawning, a level of subservience I had never witnessed before. "Ms. Lin, didn't you get married years ago? Your spouse, wasn't his name?" "Asher Blackwood." In an instant, everything around us fell silent. Only then did Olivia realize that there was another person in the corner, and judging by the size, it was a man. "That woman is also an alpha, just someone to play with. She can't have children. A top-tier alpha like me naturally deserves a better omega." So, this was her true thought. Olivia's true feelings, which she had never expressed in front of me, were like knives, continuously severing my nerves. The intense pain was unbearable. I could hear my own heartbeat and breathing becoming increasingly erratic. My outstretched hand instinctively grabbed Victoria's fingers. The icy touch, strangely, calmed me slightly. Victoria, seeming to sense my turmoil, directly refused Olivia's request. "No, thank you. My spouse is unwell." "Spouse? Ms. Zhao, you're married?" Olivia's words were blocked by the car window. Only when the car started did I emerge from under the coat. Instinctively, I turned to look at Olivia. She stood there, head bowed, then lifted her eyes. Through the dark glass, our eyes met. "Is this the woman you chose for yourself?" Victoria toyed with the cufflinks on her sleeve, the clicking sound echoing in the confined space of the car. "When I was down and out, you were sharp enough to donate money to me. Now your taste in women is terrible." I looked down, remaining silent. My taste was terrible. I loved the wrong person and trusted the wrong person. "Ms. Zhao, that $10,000, please do me a favor. Take me to Olivia's wedding." Victoria looked at me, lost in thought for a long moment. Then, a wicked smile played on her lips. "I've heard that criminals' favorite thing to do is return to the scene of the crime to admire their perfect work. Asher Blackwood, what do you want to see?" I didn't answer, and Victoria didn't press me. I wanted to go back and watch their wedding turn into a farce. I also wanted to see Olivia open that gift box with my own eyes. And Victoria was the only one who could take me there and take me away. Victoria found someone to do my makeup and change my clothes. She even found a doctor to repair my bitten gland. In appearance and detail, I was almost completely devoid of Asher Blackwood's shadow. Victoria sat behind me, her long legs crossed, her cold face revealing no emotion. It was the first time I had ever smelled an alpha's pheromones. It was faint, but incredibly alluring. In the past, I had never smelled Olivia's pheromones. "Asher Blackwood, has anyone ever told you that you have a scent very similar to pheromones?" A pair of dark pupils fell on me. Like a cheetah staring at its prey, I felt an unprecedented pressure. I pushed Victoria away, reaching up to touch my repaired neck. Victoria didn't persist, taking a seat first. The wedding began with melodious music. I watched Ethan walk in wearing my suit. He looked so happy. Every step towards Olivia was like an elegant prince. And Olivia stood there, her eyes filled with adoration and love as she looked at him. She hadn't even noticed that I was missing from the scene. The husband she professed to love so deeply, the husband who had planned this wedding for her, was absent. Will the flower girl please exchange the rings? I watched the little flower girl walk step by step towards the two people standing on the stage, my heart pounding. Ah! Ah! With two piercing screams, the music stopped. The two large screens in the venue instantly lit up, displaying a video of me sitting there. Chaos erupted in the venue. The parents of both families called for the venue manager, demanding that he turn off the video. But Olivia stood there, stunned, looking at the contents of the box. She didn't react for a long time, not until my voice rang out. Only then did she look up, her eyes brimming with tears. Olivia, that box contains the body of our child. He was 3 months old. Do you like it? I once thought we would never be apart, so I risked my life to try an artificial womb for you. But I didn't expect that you already had a better choice. Congratulations, you've been playing two men all along. Now, I'm quitting this game. Happy wedding, happy birthday. I'm leaving. You will never, ever find me. After a moment of silence, the entire venue erupted in an uproar. Right, wasn't Olivia already married? There was quite a commotion back then. So it seems Olivia cheated? I said it all along. How could an alpha and an alpha have a good outcome? The murmurs in the crowd grew louder. They had to evacuate everyone. Many of the ceremonies that hadn't taken place were completely halted. As the crowd dispersed, Olivia, who had been frozen in place, suddenly started shouting like a madwoman. Where's Asher? Where did Asher go? Is it you? Did you hide him? She stumbled through the crowd, searching for any trace of me, checking one person after another. Ethan, clutching his stomach, pulled Olivia's hand. Olivia, isn't it better that she's gone? Olivia seemed to suddenly remember something, grabbing Ethan fiercely, her eyes filled with ruthlessness. Did you tell Asher that we were already together? Didn't I tell you not to tell him? Huh. Ethan's face was filled with terror, almost pleading. Olivia, just forget about him, okay? We're a perfect match. I can give you everything he can't. What am I lacking compared to him? Tearful accusations. I watched Olivia's appearance in the crowd. My heart ached, and many words were stuck in my throat. Amidst the surging crowd, Victoria tugged at my hand, casting a cold glance at the farce on the stage. A rotten show. Let's go. Victoria was extremely conspicuous in the crowd, and naturally, I, standing beside her, couldn't avoid being seen. It's Victoria Zhao. Wow, what's she doing here? Who's that man beside her? The crowd became restless because of Victoria's presence. Asher Blackwood. Even Olivia noticed me. Suddenly, everyone's attention was focused on me. I became the focus of everyone's attention. In the midst of my struggle, I fell into a panic. Olivia strode over to me. Asher Blackwood, how did you end up with Ms. Zhao? Victoria stepped in front of me, her cold voice laced with anger. You've mistaken him. He's mine. Once again, declaring ownership, Victoria stood like a mountain, shielding me from all the storms. And once again, I smelled her faint pheromones. I didn't know why, but even Olivia hadn't given me this feeling. That feeling of mutual attraction made me want to lean closer to her. The confrontation between Olivia and Victoria was witnessed by everyone. People started discussing the outcome between the two top alphas, and some even started placing bets. Asher Blackwood, I could recognize your scent even if you were reduced to ashes. Did you think you could escape? I'm telling you, you can only be mine. Extremely insulting words poured out. The love I thought I had was nothing more than possessiveness. Her words denied my human rights. Indeed, for these top alphas, everyone was just a plaything. Olivia, am I yours? I sneered, revealing the gland on the back of my neck. What are you going to mark me with? The gland you repeatedly bite will easily be repaired. Olivia, I have never, ever been yours. The fact that alphas and alphas could never form a bond also allowed me the freedom to come and go. Before, I was willing to be imprisoned by love. Now, I simply wasn't willing anymore. Asher, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have completed the mark with Ethan. I'll immediately have him get his gland removed. Okay, I beg you, forgive me. Listening to those absurd words, I realized for the first time that I had never understood the person beside me. Those seemingly apologetic words became a moral shackle, binding me. Removing a gland was no different from killing someone. Olivia, you really disgust me. Let's go. I gently tugged at Victoria's hand. Victoria turned around, shielding me in her embrace, and walked towards the exit. But Olivia relentlessly followed, even attempting to take me from Victoria's grasp. Olivia, if you dare to touch him today, I'll make the Lynn and Shaw families pay the price. Olivia's hand froze in midair. For Olivia, the Lynn family was a symbol of her status. She was the family's glory, and without the family, she was nothing. Seeing her like that, my heart was filled with mockery. Love and not loving, it was just that. I took one last look at Olivia and followed Victoria to the car. It was the first time I felt that Olivia was so disheveled, so unattractive. I even felt a hint of disgust. But as I lifted one foot, I heard Ethan's piercing scream. Asher Blackwood, you ruined my wedding. I want you to die. Ethan, holding a sharp blade, charged straight at me. I didn't even have time to react, and there was nowhere to escape. Immense fear engulfed me. I closed my eyes, resigned to my fate, but the expected pain didn't come. I opened my eyes and saw Victoria's arm blocking my chest. The sharp knife had pierced Victoria's arm, and bright red blood flowed from her fair, slender arm. Ms. Zhao. My heart was pounding. Seeing the shocking wound, my eyes reddened. I turned around, took out a first aid kit from the car, and bandaged her wound. Ethan was pushed to the ground by Olivia, his face contorted. Asher, are you all right? Olivia circled around me, asking me repeatedly if I was okay. But I was busy bandaging and had no time to pay attention to her. Olivia, it hurts. I glanced over there and saw that the back of his neck had hit a sharp stone. Ethan, what are you trying to? The moment Olivia turned around, she was so nervous that she couldn't even speak. She stumbled towards Ethan, hugging him tightly, his face pale. Don't be afraid. I'll call 120. 120 is the emergency number in China, like 911. Save him, save him. Asher, help me save him. It was the first time I had seen Olivia so flustered and helpless. Even when I was struggling to breathe, almost dying from the test tubes, she just hugged me and comforted me, telling me to endure. But now she was holding the man in her arms as if he were her whole world. She kept saying she didn't love him, but every drop of her blood was screaming for him. The scene became chaotic. The parents of both the Lynn and Shaw families rushed out. Ethan's mother even threw her bag at my head. The sharp zipper cut my face, but I just stood there, watching the woman I once loved holding another man in her arms. Asher, get in the car. Victoria pulled me into the car. Only when the car drove away from the venue did the chaos behind me become completely separated from me. At this moment, I felt the true separation. For me and Olivia, this was the best ending. Victoria offered to take me home and help me with the subsequent gland repair. After much consideration, I refused. Ms. Zhao, my $10,000 can't buy so much help from you. Thank you. Victoria, with her injured arm bandaged, sat on the sofa, looking down at the bandage. She didn't speak, nor did she make any movement. But I felt uneasy. The pheromones she was releasing were already starting to interfere with my mind. Asher Blackwood, you will definitely come back to me on your own. When I left the Zhao family, I didn't realize the meaning of Victoria's words. Not until I returned to my small 3-bedroom apartment in the city center and saw Olivia squatting on the ground at the door. The blood on her clothes hadn't even completely dried. She squatted there, and the moment she looked up, tears fell from her eyes. Asher, can you come back to me? When I first wanted to leave Olivia, I thought it was too simple. Without Victoria's protection, she could possess me, imprison me, anytime, anywhere, and even restrict my movements. And Ethan couldn't keep her at all. Only at this moment did I realize that an alpha without a family background was actually the lowest in this world. She didn't have the demand of an omega, nor the strength of a top alpha. She could be cherished, replaced, and discarded at any time. Olivia, you stopped loving me a long time ago. You clearly desired Ethan so much, yet you still wasted time on me. Because you weren't reconciled. You became even more unreconciled when you saw me appear beside Victoria. You were thinking, how could I find a top-tier alpha like Victoria after giving you up? A series of words left Olivia speechless. She shook her head, denying it, professing her love for me. But her voice became smaller and smaller. Asher Blackwood, you hooked up with Victoria a long time ago, didn't you? You removed the embryo, destroyed our bond, just to throw yourself into someone else's arms, right? Olivia's muffled voice carried a hint of sharpness. Her gaze towards me became somewhat bloodthirsty. Asher Blackwood, since I can't have you, no one can. She rushed towards me like a madwoman, pressing her hand against my neck. Once an alpha's gland is completely damaged, their life will come to an end. The pheromones and strength Olivia released were enough to suppress me completely, making me unable to move. Even though I couldn't feel the power of the pheromones, I was still shocked by that force. Let go of me. I bit my lip, desperately trying to resist. But the disparity in strength instantly made me feel weak. Olivia, is this what you call loving me? Loving someone, wanting to destroy them if you can't have them, is this love? I loved Olivia so much, and even when I was betrayed, I only thought about leaving. But she wanted to destroy me. During the struggle, a faint scent of pheromones swirled around my nose. It was Victoria. I heard the sound of leather shoes tapping on the floor. I turned my head and saw those silver-white high heels approaching us with a captivating aura. Olivia, I'll only say it once. Let go of him. Olivia seemed to be frozen, instantly losing all her strength. And I reacted quickly, pushing the woman off me and running towards Victoria. The feeling of surviving a disaster and the pheromones at the tip of my nose made me lean towards Victoria. Victoria frowned, pulling me out of her embrace. You can smell my pheromones? My body was burning, and I couldn't resist Victoria's voice at this moment. I stood on tiptoe and kissed her lips. The concentration of pheromones suddenly increased, perfectly matching Victoria's. You're actually an Omega? Victoria's scarlet eyes held a hint of surprise. She pulled me off her. She pressed against my lips and bit the gland on the back of my neck. No. Amidst Olivia's heart-wrenching roar, Victoria and I completed the nodding mark. I don't know how long it took, but when I woke up, Olivia was long gone. Only Victoria remained, propping up her head, a smile on her lips, looking at me. Good morning. My face flushed red. Remembering what happened yesterday, I burrowed into the blanket. So, I was actually an Omega. No wonder alphas can't have artificial wombs, but I was able to conceive Olivia's child. Perhaps it was because Victoria and I were a perfect match that I was completely opened up. From then on, I never saw the names Olivia and Ethan again. Occasionally I heard people talk about them, only knowing that the Shaw family moved away after that. And there was no trace of the Lynn family. Two huge, century-old families disappeared without a trace. And I stayed by Victoria's side. Her extreme affection for me was known to everyone. Unlike Olivia, she was never unfaithful to me. There wasn't even a single man around her. Asher, you need to go out and be yourself. Asher, don't change yourself for anyone, and don't sacrifice yourself. You need to find a way to make people compromise for you, sacrifice for you. Victoria gradually taught me to be myself, to love myself. It was she who told me that only by loving myself would someone love me wholeheartedly.